quick background about my mom is that she was made to marry my dad at the age of 14.
Yeah.
At that time, it was just bad because she really didn't have a choice. So she was basically somehow sold to my dad, if I can loosely put it. So now she had my big sister at the age of 17. And then the rest of us came in. So she never really had a chance.
Welcome to Unlock with Tando Maumela, a podcast where positivity and open-mindedness are embraced. We are set to discuss various topics aiming to build, challenge mindsets and societal norms, question mediocrity and uplift spirits. If anything, expect a mind-blowing podcast hosted by your very own sister coach, aka Sheila Tando Kamaumela, the Kingdom Diva. Danko. Welcome to Unlock with Tando Kamaumela. Again, I'm having a guest that's going to give us the best of our meal for the day. I am about spirituality, I am about motivation, about edutainment, and I am about love, life and all things good out of life. I always look out for more, and today I'm bringing you someone who's going to introduce themselves and tell you what they're about, first who they are, and we get into what they do. As you know me, I never bring about nobody. Important people. About nobody. In there. Everyone that comes here is just as important because they are making a huge difference out there, one way or another. Ntokozo.
Hello. Thank you so
Welcome
much
to
for
Unlock
having me.
with Tando Kamaumela. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here, and it's an honor.
I did not expect you to say I've got time, especially when we spoke Izolo.
Yep.
Given that your schedule is tight,
Yep.
you might just tell me, Kapa just now, I'll see you next week.
But we make time for things that I think are impactful and are important.
Yeah.
I think I was just getting up when we spoke,
Yeah.
and it was yesterday morning. And when you said, can you come through tomorrow, I didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
I've got a meeting that I just came out from, which was supposed to be from 10 to 2, but I had to leave early. I told them yesterday immediately after confirming that I would be available that I'll have to leave early because I think that can wait. And telling our stories from dusty townships and humble beginnings for me is something that is important. So I had to honor that. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And I'd simply say this is part one because Ntokozo, you've got so many layers to you. And I'm saying part one confidently because of the things that you do.
Sure.
And today we are coming because you've got something that you're going to share with the viewers that's coming up.
Yeah.
And it interests me as well. For now, Ntokozo ban, who's Ntokozo? Please introduce yourself.
Ntokozo Mwelase is a boy that grew up for 7 years or so was born in Soweto. My mom was looking for her father, which is my grandpa from her side. So that's how I accidentally got born in Soweto, a Epiphany Clinic.
Okay.
And then, so she was heavily pregnant at the time, and there were signals that she was finding ubabwak because they had separated. And then immediately after giving birth to me, went back to Kwahlabisa where she was married to my dad.
Okay.
So I grew up there for about 6.5 years, and they parted ways. And then my mom got back to Katlehong, where Umkuluami, her dad, lived. And then I started primary school there. I had already started primary school in Kwahlabisa, a lower primary, but I was doing second year at that time, which is second year, but ngoba thina le KwaZulu sithi second year. So it's actually taken from the English word second year. So usab B. Then when I got here in Gauteng, because I was from KZN, they took me back to grade 1.
Okay.
So that's where I started. And then so I grew up in Katlehong most of my life. Katlehong Germiston was our city. And I went to Sonqaba Primary School. I went to Bonseng Secondary School. So all this is happening in Katlehong. And one of the interesting things that happened while I was in secondary school is that I got introduced to life skills. I was a person who likes talking, who likes giving answers even if they're incorrect, who likes getting involved in my own learning. I don't think I was the smartest in the class, but definitely the most active and the most, engaging, which puts me above average. So that was my life. I grew up in Katlehong, and then I had to fend for myself. I was raised by a single mother. So you can imagine from the age of 6 years, basically, my mom raised me, my older sister, my younger sister on her own, because she got to move back to Gauteng with us. So we had to learn how to provide for ourselves at an early age, which taught me survival skills, taught me leadership skills. And when I went to high school and then I got introduced to life skills, for me, they blended with my life and my beginnings, my young self quite nicely. So that's the background of who Ntokozo is as a young boy. I am right now. I am a founder of Future Shapers organization, which is 18 years old. I established the organization in 2006, which was aimed at. So after finishing high school and seeing that the organization that I was part of at that time actually died, it died out. And I knew what it had done for me while I was in high school. It saved me from being a child who has no direction. So I felt there was a need for another young person in South Africa to actually, or in my area at that time, because I was small, it was in Katlehong, Ntokozo, Vosloorus. I felt that there was a need for me to actually expose another boy child, another girl child, a high school kid who is exposed to a lot of different social ills, and to say, how can we help prevent you from getting lost in the mix of the menu that life gives to you, so that you are able to choose the right stuff, because there will always be a menu in life. That's my belief. But you need to choose the right stuff that is good for your body so that you can live a prolonged life. So I started the Future Shapers based on that. We started doing camps. I had a lot of camps for the kids to develop them, teaching them life skills and to be independent, leadership skills, and academic excellence. So that was all about the Future Shapers. This organization, up to this day, still exists, and now we've got a lot of our beneficiaries who are coming back to give back. We've got 3 generations, actually, from 2006 of kids who went a full cycle on our program and went to university or to the world of work and came back and plowed back. And today I'm proud to say that I'm now taking the kids of the kids I used to train from 2006 to camps. So which is it's a nice feeling to have Abu Mama of these kids who are saying, I went through the same program and I was trained by the same guy, and here he is. He's my mentor, and I want you to be mentored by him. I don't think I'm going to leave that for too long, because at some point I might not be able to actively facilitate and be running around like I used to be, but I still have a lot of years in my calendar. But I think it's a satisfying feeling to see myself training abantwana of kids, mothers and fathers who I started the Future Shapers with. So eventually I grew also into fitness. So I started my own gym. So I'm also a qualified group fitness instructor, and I run my own gym in Windmill Park, Boksburg. So I got introduced to fitness also by chance, and I found it to be fitting in my purpose, which is to develop people. Now, if I also get into their physical well-being, for me, it added value to the emotional part, or the mental part of saying that you are developing a person mentally, but if you're able to speak to them spiritually and you're able to get to them physically, for me, that's a combination that wins. Because if you are good in your mindset, you are good in your well-being inside, your spirit is right, and if you're taking care of your body, you are able to get to the things that you aspire to reach. But if you just dream, but you are not eating well and you are not taking care of this whole body, even in the Bible, it's stipulated that we need to exercise. So if we don't do that, I think that we are shortchanging our body because it's the vehicle that takes us to where we want to be. So we need to take care of it. So that's what my club, which is also under, it's a baby of the Future Shapers. It's called Future Shapers Aerobics Club. So it's still an NPO that helps now those who are at work, those who are at home to actually keep fit. I also am a founder of a fitness event called Ekurhuleni Aerobics Festival, which is
seen it.
Yeah. So it's one of the biggest events in Ekurhuleni that does aerobics. It's an all-inclusive. It's not for competition. It's an event that calls on abogogo, abomkhulu, young people, and your middle-class people who are used to aerobics to say, let's come and keep fit and keep active. I'm a director of Potential Maximizers, which is my company, which I started in 2014. Basically, I do learning and development. My background, most of the time, as you might know, you should definitely know that I worked for a company called Winning Teams.
Yeah, we come from the same background.
Yeah, so learning and development is actually touching on all the things. Fitness is part of learning and development. You're developing yourself, you're constructing a good body, a good eating plan, nutrition and stuff. And then life skills is learning and development. So for profit, for as a business, or for corporate clients and for other organizations, I use my company, which is Potential Maximizers. The name says it itself that we are maximizing potential for people. So defining who you are, if you are in a workplace, how you actually fit in the vision of the company with your own vision so that you can be a team player and make an impact while you are working for that company. So that's what my Potential Maximizers does. The last company that I will talk about that I also am a director and a founder of is Fitness Drip. So the Ekurhuleni Aerobics Festival is run by Fitness Drip. It's a company that does fitness solutions. It gives fitness solutions to different clients. Rainwater, for an example, as a client could come to me and say, we've got 4 plants around Gauteng. Would like for you to run gyms for us and give our employees fitness solution. That's why when you have companies that have got internal or inside gyms, they hire people like us as Fitness Drip to come in and install a cycling studio, an aerobic studio, so that we are able to keep their employees fit. So basically that's the background of who Ntokozo is. Other than that, I'm just a guy who loves people. I'm in love with life. I love and respect myself. So I take care of myself as a man and as a leader. I know that I've got a responsibility to inspire people. Whether you see my social media or you see my statuses, it's always about inspiring somebody to do something good because I am able to do that on a daily basis. And why not share it with everyone so that people can get used to being kind to one another and people can get used to love themselves and also celebrate themselves. I do a lot of things that ordinary people do, but with grace and with humility and with respect to say that I've got a responsibility to teach other people. So I can go on and on 1 hour telling you about who I am. So I'll stop there.
The confidence is on another level. I tell you. So Ntokozo, I think what intrigued me was not only that you were at newsroom about this event that you are, you are bringing. As a young man who's been raised by a single parent, we'll start there.
Yeah.
What is your view of, other young men, or rather in general, because you've experienced it? What is the impact of being raised by a single parent? Your mama at the time.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that the mother in this instance. I know that we've got dads who are raising kids on their own. What the impact it does on you or it has on you is that you are always missing another parent. Whether you are raised by a single father or a single mother, you are always missing the other half. So you are somehow robbed of experiencing firsthand what the traditional family should be like. So if I can say, Tando, when you are raised by your mom and dad in the same household, you are able to experience love pure love, not love that comes with benefits, not love that comes because there is an intention to get something out of it. So when you see your mom and dad hug, you know that they hug from the purest of their places, not because ngizokubheja later on, or it's because I've got other intended benefits after that. When there is no food at home, but you still see love prevail between your parents, that's where you see love. So love from me comes from our Creator, our God. That's the first love. But here on earth, the love that you see is between your mom and your dad. So if you have not seen that at home, how do you go and tell a girl, for me as a boy child, being raised by a mother, how do you go and tell a girl that you love them? Where have you seen this love? Because now when you say to, if you're a girl, I'm saying to you, I love you, I need to mimic something I've seen. Because I can't be born and naturally I know how to love a person. Yes, you can be born with love, but you need to have learned it from home. So there was no other person that my mom could show me what love and respect is. The limited exposure I have is through TV, which is not love. It's cars, it's money, it's big houses, it's about
It's
being
things.
bold. It's things. So that becomes the danger of not having this unit that we promote. But that's a reality also. We cannot force everybody to have this picture that is so perfect. Because even in cases where there are perfect pictures with a mom and dad, you find that the dad is absent but is there. You find that the mom is absent but they are physically there. So it doesn't guarantee you that you will get the love that you need to go and portray outside. So what it steals from me, or it stole from me, is the fact that I could not see my dad expressing love to my mom, which is my responsibility now to go and express to a woman outside. So the best person to teach me that is my own father, showing my mom love, not a father who is beating up their partner, which is my mom in this instance. And my mom, I've never seen her being beaten by any man, including my dad. But I also did not see my dad showing affection to a woman who would happen to be my mother. So then you see, it's either when you're with a mom, you will see your mom dating different men to find a man that she could have. So now you're already having a distorted kind of this unit that is supposed to be. So that is what happens to a boy child or a girl child who is raised by one of the parents and the other is absent. There is a missing puzzle. And no one, no matter how much people try, and even giving credit to parents who are able to have the other step parent come in and they do a great job. That is commended in my view, because we are not living in this movie called Perfect Life. So when pieces break, I think it's always good to see that there are other people who intend to mend them. But mending something is not the same as having the original art piece. You can never be my father. You can never be my biological mother. That is a fact. And I'm not saying this to say, but let's not care about people who take on, because they are loving our parents whom we have a relationship with. But at the same time, it means that you will always wonder who or how your dad would have done it, so that you can learn from them. So that's what it steals, and that's what it has stolen from me. That experience of seeing ubaba wam athi kumamam, I love you, umamama a smile. I've never seen that. I've never seen my mom get, goosebumps or abashai from, my dad showing her affection.
Would you say that it also took a part of your life, or of your mom's life, that separation yakhe from your dad? Did it take away a part of her?
It did,
Yes.
largely. So, quick background about my mom is that she was made to marry my dad at the age of 14.
Yeah.
At that time, it was just bad because she really didn't have a choice. So she was basically somehow sold to my dad, if I can loosely put it. So now she had my big sister at the age of 17. And then the rest of us came in. So she never really had a chance because she never
Her
had
childhood gone.
Yeah. She never had her
Oh,
dad
gosh.
as she was looking for him here in Joburg. She never had her mom close by. So she was staying at a relative and my dad came by and saw this pretty girl and then there were conversations held and then that was it. She was gone. I think I'm even making a mistake. I think when she got, she actually, no, I'm right. She got to be with my dad when she was 14. She got my sister when she was 17. I hope I'm right, not the other way that she got my sister when she was 14 rather. But that's, the reality is that it was so early, she had no choice, and she was an abiding, a submissive woman, and my dad was a player. And at some point, she could not take it, and she left. So you can imagine how much that takes from her, that she has now 3 kids with this man, and she has to leave this man. Because what I like about her is that she's a no-nonsense woman. She stood up, even at that time, back in those days, she stood up for herself, and she said, I'm not going to be able to do this. I would rather raise these kids on my own. So that's how we got to move to Joburg. And that now makes her, whether she likes it or not, a single parent,
Yeah.
a single mom. Now she has to be found looking, and she has to be found wanting. She has to now meet other, because life has to go on. She has to meet other men. Now she has got 3 kids. The stigma that comes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking forward for us to get to the, talk about the event, because I believe that it's a single woman empowerment event, but it's done by a man who has experience being raised by a single mother and seen the struggles, the judgment, the fears that a single mother has. I mean, coming from Wahlabisa, which is a small town in the northern part of KZN, you come into a big city and you don't know where to start. So a lot was taken away from her, and she had to find herself navigating, and she did a pretty good job. Here I am. One of the things I didn't tell you about myself when I introduced myself is that she raised South African Man of the Year award winner for youth development and leadership
Yes.
alone.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy. There was no father. I decided to go back home to Wahlabisa when I was 16. So you can imagine, that was 10 years later. And when I went back home, it was for me. I wanted to see him.
Okay.
I wanted to meet him, and because he remains my father. So I wanted to see him and establish a relationship with him, because I didn't want to grow up with hate. But to turn things around, unfortunately, a few years after I actually was okay and admitted that things happened the way they did, and it is not my place to judge what my mom and dad had to quarrel about. It wasn't my place. I'm mentioning facts when I say she was a player and so forth, but that's not my place to judge. I'm just telling you how things went. But I was okay with the fact that I'm going to meet him and I'm going to establish this relationship with him, and I am happy to embrace him. But unfortunately, later in the time when I had established this relationship, things turned sour because I stopped working for a company that was allowing me to have a big salary. I had to start afresh to establish all the things that I've told you that I do right now. And I felt that when I no longer had the ability to make the money I used to make, my dad simply unplugged. I was the one who was visiting home, driving home. I didn't need petrol. I didn't need any financial support. I came bearing plastics of groceries because I love this family. With his new wife and his daughters, my half-sisters, I embraced them. I actually wanted to also bring all the other about 10 kids that he had fathered around the country. So I wanted to just say,
The
guys,
country.
he's the man of the year. So I actually wanted to do that, but I saw the attitude change when I no longer had the luxury to just go home anytime. I used to go home to KZN, which is about 10 hours drive from where I stayed, 6-7 times a year. But right now, a year passes without me going home because I have to make efforts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm
true.
seeing that I'm the only one who needs to make effort. So the relationship is one-sided. So there is a lot that we lose, and that's why I'm saying even my mom lost a lot of her peak times, at times where she could be doing a lot of things for self-empowerment, but she had to take care of us. She had to lose a lot of time and make sure that she finds a factory here in Joburg to work for so that she can provide for us, so that she can give us an education that she didn't have. My mom didn't finish school. She didn't finish
Obviously.
school.
Getting married at 14.
At 14, you are taken, you are not now allowed to finish school or say, I'm going to varsity or college. So her education is at sub-6 standard grade 8. She could not further her studies, and that was it. So there's so much that she lost.
So your siblings, Bona, what the relationship with dad?
I was the only link with my dad. So my mom were 3 from my dad. It was my sister, myself, my younger sister. Well, I don't know whether it was just natural. For me as a boy, I knew I wanted to go back to my dad.
Okay.
And at that time, I did not think, Uguti, it's because I'm a boy. But I think it was because I'm a boy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes we don't know this, Tando, but we are actually linked to our fathers as boys. I'm sorry, this is getting me emotional. But I think something in me that I didn't know at that time was happening said, go back home. Even to this day, I'm the only one who managed to change my surname to Mwelase. And from the early ages, even when we worked at the company we worked for, many years ago, I called, you know me as Mwelase, you don't know any other surname, because my surname took me 12 years to change. At that time when we were working for that company, my ID showed a surname that my mother remarried to, and unfortunately divorced that man, and I was left with a surname of a man that she's no longer in a relationship with, in marriage as well. So now I'm left, and my kids need to inherit a surname that is not mine. So I had to fight. So I fought, I involved him, and at some point I did not find, that feedback. I had to find other Mwelases here who could write a statement that I can change into this surname. And eventually my surname changed to Mwelase.
So Ntokozo, why do you think men are so detached? Why are men so detached? Why do they find it easy to not want to be fathers, to not want to look after their children, to not want to be involved, actively present, and exactly what you're saying, Guti, awufuni nokuza wenze just an affidavit for your child to change surname to yours, which this child wants, but you are not just willing. Why is it so okay?
You're not even paying for it. I've never asked anything from my dad. And when I asked, I was never given. There were times where I could ask, and I felt like, you know what? In terms of education, you know how angry you become as a boy child, or maybe as any child, when you see this man raising his other daughters. They are provided for. They were not living the highest life, but they are provided for. And I'm just saying, can you also offer a little to provide for your other kids? I mean, I'm your first boy. Thought that would mean something, but it clearly didn't. So I never asked him to do anything. When I needed an affidavit, I would go home and go to the nearest police station, 11 hours away from where I stayed, just to say, do this so that I can take it back to Joburg, so that I can apply. So I would force him to do that. So he would do that, but the file would get lost at Home Affairs, and I would need to redo it. The reason why it took me 11 years, I had to redo my surname application so many times. One, I had to change from this existing surname that I have to a Kwabe surname that is my mother's uncle's surname.
Still not yours, still not hers.
And then fine, I was left with that surname, and then I had to now kill this surname and apply for a Mwelase. And when I applied for Mwelase, I had to, when I went to Boksburg, they told me that they can't trace it anymore. I had to reapply. I went to Pretoria to reapply. And then it disappeared, and I had to go to Germiston to reapply. And then a few years later, I was shocked. I think my birthday was not as exciting as the day when I saw my card, my ID card, reflecting Mwelase. The surname that the dad is not even raising me, but I knew that for me and for the next generation of my kids and his grandkids to come, I needed to do that. So I had to correct that. I think that there are many reasons why men detach.
Yeah.
And I don't think there is an excuse. So sometimes men are forced because now as an adult, I know that you as a man, as a grown man, you can be pushed away from your child by the mother of your child who has issues with you and who wants to use the child. And there are many men who don't cry, Tando. There are many men who are sitting silently because they are not allowed to even see their kids. Because a woman is angry that you left them and you've hurt them. Rightfully so, they can be angry, but using this offspring to fight your battles, I don't think is fair to the child. So there's that. But there are many men who run away unprovoked from the responsibility of raising their own kids. I think that what makes it easy for men, I'm not saying this is justified, by the way, but I think a mother carries the child for 9 months.
Yeah.
You develop a bond. You have an understanding what it takes to go on labor and actually give birth to this human being. Men naturally are detached from the process. If you look back before civilization, you find that a man impregnates a woman, goes to work at the mine for 6 months, for a year in other instances. You come back home, this child that you left inside a woman's womb is now born, is playing outside. You missed out on the process of bonding during pregnancy, morning sicknesses, cravings, all those important steps. The woman goes through them alone. That's why they're more attached
And
to
when you're
this
back,
seed.
you impregnate again.
And then you leave. That's how traditionally it used to be, even now.
Until 8, 9 children.
Yeah. Sometimes that's why fathers don't know that some of the 9 children are not theirs. Because you don't know what happens. 1 year you're gone, the woman has a need, and it was something which was a taboo at that time, that now you have needs. No, you must wait for your man.
Yeah.
But it happens now that around the time where you are gone, there is another child. You come back, you father a child. You don't know if this child is yours or not because you are not there. You are absent. So I think
absent.
from that behavior, it's easy for a man to not see the effort it takes to raise this child, the effort it takes, or what much is lost when you lose this child. So even today, you find men getting involved with women sexually and then leaving them. Because for us, it becomes a sexual act and then we leave. And then you conceive and you feel this is a gift and you want to keep this gift. And that's why it's easy again for a man to say, but we abort.
Hey.
Because it's not them who's going to go through losing this thing. Somehow they might account later, but depending on what they believe in, but which is a story for another day. But it's easy for them to just see physically possible to just say, take that thing out. It's like you've got a pimple. You just need to pinch it out of your skin. It's as simple as that, and then we'll just buy you lunch, and then
now getting to this part, you are creating this event for women, single moms, and you are deciding to create it for us. Why?
The reason is that the first reason is the fact that I am a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm breaking the stigma again that these conversations are only affecting single women.
Yes.
So traditionally, it's expected that a woman should host a single mom's event.
Exactly.
But it doesn't end with the women only. These women are struggling. I get calls from people who say, because I do boy child development programs. So I get a lot of calls of people saying, I have got this month of June, we've just been in, and now that we're in July, I don't know how many calls of people who say, I took my child for circumcision. I don't know how to be there for them, because this is an intimate thing. Now, you're talking about a private part organ of a boy being circumcised. Now, a mom is now not sure how close is too close. If I'm distancing myself, am I now
Leaving the
leaving
child,
them,
neglecting.
neglecting, caring for them? And the father is nowhere to be found.
Hey,
And these are boys
Ntokozo.
who are now 12, 13, and they
Yeah.
are men. They
Yeah.
say, Mom, ngiphi space. But you know that as a parent, you've got a responsibility to medically check on the child.
Yeah,
Ukuthi
and
uright na,
yeah.
ama-bandage are right, i-teachers are right, all those. So prior to this month, a lot of people have been saying, where do I even, I'm a parent, because we forget as women. I want to say this maybe before I go on, to say that it is okay for women to be strong, powerful, and able to raise children. But I don't think it's something that we should
Normalize.
choose and say, I intentionally want to normalize just saying, I'm going to raise a kid of my own. I don't need a dad.
But there are women like that in Ntokozo who actually
I respect
say,
that.
I want a baby pale and Ntokozo.
No, okay, that is another discussion, And unfortunately, they don't even tell you as the Ntokozo ukuthi, I just want to conceive a baby, and after that, ubona mase sekumele ube involved ukuthi akakudingi. But I don't think many men would just be happy to say, you come to me and you say, hey, I just want to have a baby with you, and that's it. We would not agree to that.
Majority don't, yeah.
Yeah, unless, yes, there are men who don't mind, who don't care. But it's okay to then donate your sperm cell if that's what you want to do. Then that's easy. But lying to a person, creating a relationship that doesn't exist, and saying that I'll be there for you. When you engage sexually without using protection, there is only one outcome. Biologically speaking, there is a baby that might be born. There are chances that are high. So now, if you're saying that, excuse me, you will be now gone and you will detach and you will neglect, you will expose, because our role as men is to protect, care, provide, keep the safety. But now if you remove yourself, homes are exposed, families are exposed, because men are sitting in taverns, men are with their chicks somewhere, enjoying, when the women with stretch marks who have built a family for you are left alone. You want the models, you want the better ones, whatever. I don't know. What is it that we eventually hope to find when we leave these our families? But for me, it's really sad to find ourselves in a space where people are just saying, it's normal for me to just say, I don't need the father. And I can do, because we are angry. I understand we are angry. We say those things because we are angry. But I wish that we could not then, when it had not worked out, or if it doesn't work out, let us not use the kids as the weapon to fight our battles. So that's what I wanted to get, done with. And then coming to say that because now as a woman, when you are raising this baby boy, because there's something special about baby girls. There's also something special about these baby boys. Baby girls, we know they get a period, and then as a father, you get shocked. Okay, how do I handle this if you're a single father? That's why I wouldn't even promote that single father is the next thing. We need to make it a stylish thing. No, the most natural way to form this thing is to keep together. But reality says that sometimes we part ways. When we part ways, let's not break the gap and the gate and the door for the other parent to have access to our kids. That's my belief. But if that has happened, now that's what I'm saying. Women say, I don't need a father and so forth. And then comes the time for circumcision. And you realize, oops, I forgot that now. This is something that even if I'm a doctor, as a mother, or I'm a mother who is successful and a CEO and I've got millions, but millions won't make me this male figure who is going to make this boy understand what he's going through. A pregnant woman can tell other pregnant women how to go through pregnancy better than I can do.
Yeah.
Because the pregnant woman has gone through that. And yes, with respect that our pregnancies are different, but there's something common. We've all conceived, we'll all go on labor. Whether you had a cesarean or you went through a natural birth, whatever. But the thing is, you went through the morning sicknesses, you went through the mood swings, you went through the cravings, all those things. So an HIV positive person can tell a story better. I'm from those ages. I think HIV now is not as severe as it used to be. But when we used to fight for treatment in South Africa, when there was treatment action campaign, people went through severe stages of HIV. I was an activist of HIV. I know that background. So I know that an HIV positive person could tell a story better than I would as just an activist who is not HIV positive. So that is why I'm saying that a father is therefore needed to come and say, or a father figure, even if the father is not there. Because other single parents, it's not because the father went away. Some is because of death. They've lost a father. So there's still a gap. And this platform is for that. That is why I believe that I'm a right person to say, women and men, let's come together and change this narrative that is there. That, when you go to many places, our society doesn't, there's marriage couples counseling, there's married couple trips, there is all these programs that are set for this unit that is perfect. But where there are gaps and breakages, what empowerment and development do we offer to the women who are there, who are going through that? When single women enter other places in our society, we look at them funny because we think they're going to steal our men. Sometimes we look at them funny because we think, why couldn't they keep a man? Maybe they are not behaving in a certain way. I've got a guy who's going to come to the event on the 3rd of August who is a son who was raised by a single woman and has got 3 other siblings. All of them have got different fathers.
Okay.
And I wanted that perspective, that background from his side rather, who he will talk about how he saw his mother struggle raising them because they all have different dads. That is still a mother who is seen. How is dating for that mother?
Yeah.
What do men see? Not even a church or an organization, but me as a guy, when I see this pretty woman and I approach her and she says, hey, I've got 3 kids with 3 different kids. What is the first thing? What is the stigma that I attach to her?
Yeah, fab.
Yeah, that's basically what we look at, that I want a perfect woman. And that is why I've seen, even on Facebook, you see, there was a very good way that it described how we as men sometimes do things. It's a box of mangoes, and they are all just beaten once or twice, and then they say, we as men, for us to get through to our number one so-called beautiful lady that we want to marry, we mess up all these ladies. Lala nabo bonke, siyabamosha bonke, siyabaqobhoza bonke. Then mase sesithola lo perfect, sithi right. But abobani kumele bathande laba esibasinekile thina.
Ntokozo.
Abobani kumele baba embrace ngamaskazi. Lo engingaba nomntana naye waba nama stretch mark. Ubani kumele amthande, ambone attractive. Because mina sengifuna no child perfect.
Virgin even.
Virgin.
Abanye.
That's how crazy we become. So who is supposed to love the single woman with kids from other men who promised her that they will stick by? But also, to which extent do we say to the single women, they must also take responsibility for their actions?
Yeah.
Because there are other women who sleep with you, they want to have a child with you because they want marriage, and this is not what you have subscribed to. They have not sat down with you. So now they're stealing this picture that they want to achieve one day by sleeping with you. But also, you as a man, you've got a responsibility to say, if we are having sex without using protection, what is going to happen there?
Do you think the conversations around, but I think you would, conversations around what wenzani nami Ntokozo, when you are with me, where are we going? What are you doing with me? What's the future is important amongst young people?
Very important, but we avoid doing that.
Why?
So we are afraid to say what we want and who we are. My biggest thing, as you would know from many years, I talk about self-actualization. I talk about knowing who you are.
Yeah.
If men and women understood who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in, their values, they wouldn't be shy to express them. If I want to snag you, I must be able to come and say, hey, I want to sleep with you. And be able to admit if you say, no, I don't want to.
Okay.
But we don't do that. So the same way women sometimes, and this is not a blanket statement, women would come and have a child with you because they see, oh, you've got an education, you've got a house, a car. You could fit the description of what a man would. But they are not having a conversation with you. They are having it silently by themselves. Ukuthi, long funa ukuthi ngimethele, so that ngizoba nomntwana naye. Mase senginomntwana, I will keep that man. Men are so aware of themselves, more than women are.
Okay.
They will leave when they don't want
Yeah,
to stay.
no, abonage standard.
Just like you just said to me, but why is it easy
Bonake,
for men
easy,
to detach? Most men understand who they are and what they want. So if the relationship is over, it's rare to find men bazobekezela compared to how a girl child, African-wise, has been raised to say bekezelele toxicity.
But when they leave, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
When they leave, men.
No, we have to be gentle
it's
and
not
nice.
me, it's you. You're
Yeah.
a very lovely woman.
Yeah.
It's just not working out.
It's protecting.
It's my fault.
Most of the time, it's protecting the woman. That's why that famous statement, it's not you. I'm the one that is a problem. Because I believe that sometimes we as men, we are made to forget who we are. And I think it happens both ways. But I'm going to talk as a man.
Yeah.
That we as men, we go through so much oppression, but we were not raised to shout when it's painful. We're not made to shout when we bleed inside. And actually, we are told, Guti, are you really crying? Are you bleeding? You are not man enough when you do that. So we are oppressed.
Men are allowed to be emotional too.
We say that. But men, when we become emotional, we become a laughing stock. Yeah.
But you softy, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you mentioned that we are allowed to cry because we are. We are allowed to feel pain
human.
because we are human, just like our counterparts are. But we are not really allowed. When you look at society, when a man cries, in the danger.
Yeah, please.
Exactly. Maungalwi back. Let's say you are Ubaba next door. We are shy. And you're like, no, I should not respond with violence. A woman looks at you like, vele uyamiyeka.
Really?
Uyamiyeka. Abangani bakho, even not your woman. Abangani bakho mawulwa nenye indoda in a tavern or somewhere in the mall in an argument. You are fighting for a parking space.
Taking me back.
Uyamiyeka. Because for you to prove your manhood, you must be physical. You must be violent. You must be emotionless. You must be tall as a man. You must be dark and handsome. We are not all that, but we are still men.
Ntokozo, you've won these awards. Khona nenye madoda watwati
Yeah.
eziyakhala
Yeah.
that you've won recently.
Yeah.
What informed the nominations, do you think?
I think more than anything, it's my journey. You know, when you have done so much for people, people nominate you ungazi nokwazi.
Yeah,
On ETV, they invited me and they profiled me as Kasi Heroes. They have got this thing, Kasi Heroes.
I know it.
And it was something that I didn't expect because you would be shocked. You know, as I told you, I run a gym. And then one of the members posts me. It's a new member most of the time. There's a new member who's going to come and they're posting me for the first time. I will get a lot of screenshots of people who know this member. They will say, we know that guy. That guy used to go to motivations with. He used to motivate. The first time, 2 days ago, another one, she showed me, he said, this lady says, the first time she saw a motivational speaker many years ago was when she saw you.
Yeah.
So you get nominated, you get recognized many years after. This is many people make these mistakes of thinking that when you start an organization or when you start a charitable cause, you want to be recognized and be seen that you are a good person. You will never go anywhere. But when you're a good person and you know you're a good person, you keep on the work. 20 years later, other people will recognize that you changed my life. Sometimes you don't even know because you're not looking and pointing at that person to change impilo yabo. But because of the work you do, omunye umuntu akubona uzakayi-1 esikoleni sabo washo into eyi-1. And that changed how they see life. The boy who bought a car is not a boy who I mentored. Audrey, I didn't mentor him
Directly.
not directly. I had camps in his school, Eketsang Secondary School. He went to my camps only twice. My camps at that time were saving money. They were one night. So I would have them on a Friday and bring them back on the Saturday afternoon. I knew we would see the cost for our townships and the economy that is struggling. Abazala banamali. But I knew Katlehong is not going to be enough. You need to take these kids
Expose them.
just by taking them out of Katlehong, by exposure to a trip to a lakeside mall to Mpumalanga Delmas. It's less than an hour. It's about an hour, 10 minutes actually, trip to Delmas. Gubo, it's a dream come true. Just that trip, before Ukalu do this is often my life skills, they're already inspired. Oh, there's a highway, there's other houses, oh, there's these cars. Because if you learn, isn't it a Sekatlehong, Uzwazi big house, ya Sekatlehong, and Kulungas, Gute Sentin Gune big house, and Kulung Yulale. So you can't dream about things you've never seen. It doesn't happen. You can't dream of driving a 745Li BMW if you've never seen it. You need to see it in a magazine. You need to see it in a TV show. You need to see it literally somewhere in a parking lot. But if you're only limited to the things that are around where you are, you're going to think the best thing to dream is. That's why we need to leave Soweto, leave Katlehong, leave Gauteng, leave South Africa, go to African countries, leave Africa, go abroad, so that we broaden our horizon. We broaden how we see things, because we are stuck with what we think is the best, but that's not. There are better things out there. So, mang batata ngibasa lapho ngibafundisa ngi-embeda in knowledge kubo. Then that's when Audrey is like, we hardly talk, but he always has my number. It's like, I felt it was important that today when I buy a car, I show you that I've just bought a car.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well done. And for him to hear me say, well done, Guye, it validates something.
Yeah.
So that's my responsibility to say, you can do it. I'm not there. He went to school. Uphume eketsang wahamba wafunda wayohlala eNorthwest ukuthi ayenza ama practicals wakhe wazincintsha izinto eziningi. And akathenganga imoto enkulu, uthenga iHyundai i10.
Yeah.
But
An achievement is a big
it's an
deal.
achievement, and it is an
It
achievement,
is
because
a big
mangibheka
deal.
abangani bakhe abaga achieve half of what he's achieved. So
Based on focus.
yeah, angithi that's the thing,
Focus,
because thina sicabanga ukuthi i-success ukuthi so uhlala emotweni, so driver in unemalini. Is success for me, the progress for me, is that if today bengine 2 bob, kusasa ngine 2 bob 1 cent.
Yeah.
So for me that is moving, because people
I'm
think
saving
that
towards something.
yeah, that's more meaningful than winning the lotto.
Yeah. Yeah. Once off.
Where I've got 20 cents namhlanje, by luck and chance, ni win 20 million. That's why we've got I blew it.
Hey.
Because that journey, you're going to eat 20. I would rather
The
cut 20
value of
cents.
it, you don't
because
know.
you build a value, you build a understanding, you build
And principles also apply.
So now if you just get a man, and that is why I will always say this. There's a lady on Facebook and these social media platforms. But uthi ufuna indoda ezokwenzela ini, ezokuthengela imoto, ezokwenzela ini, mara wena ukhona ukuzithengela imoto. Why do you ask for things that you can't? If you want me to take you to an expensive 5-star restaurant, do you have enough money to take yourself alone? Not with me, just alone. I think that we need to start saying to our girl children, they are not objects. Mina ngiyathuka mangibona abomama bafisela abantwana babo ukuthi bathole indoda rich.
Is that still does it still exist?
Largely. And it's not only the parents, even the girls of today largely still feel that they want a man who is rich.
Yes, Ntokozo, I felt like, or rather, the feel that I have is that now Sesiyazi ukuthi umshado is no longer, the number one achievement. It is an achievement to some ladies and kudos.
It's okay.
But it's no longer the number one that we're pushing. The narrative that we're pushing now is that get education, empower yourself. try and find your journey, find out who you are.
Yeah.
Let go of wanting to say, I'm finished with varsity 21, then now the next best thing is for me to get married.
Yeah.
How about you navigate life and find out the things that you are, the possibilities of life.
You are human.
You are human.
You deserve
yeah.
all those things. I'm getting emotional again because that statement, we say it so lightly, ne?
Yeah.
But honestly speaking, we're saying basically, without using words, we are saying that women are just objects. So we take them to school. We say, go finish your high school. But after that, forget that you had been wishing to grow to become something that you aspire to be. Now your next dream is to depend on a man who is going to buy your hair, buy your clothes, buy your shoes, and one day
Even
pull
underwear,
you
ndoda.
with your hair. Because now I own you. There's an entitlement that happens when you do everything for anything. Whether it's an animal, it's a dog, it's your dog. When you're mad, you kick that dog because it's yours. You provide the meal. But that's not what women are. I don't believe women are that. I believe women go to school because they want to empower themselves. And what you've just said is what I believe in, that imagine if women can discover who they are outside of thinking that for them to be complete, they need a man. Because that's how we are as men. Tina si sharp. Whether we have got a woman or not. And then what we do, then we just say, ngoba ama women are raised to think that they need to get fulfillment from us. We just use that because it's an emotional blackmail and an emotional kind of brainwash. You need a man. So ma ubonakala unendoda, ubonakala ukuthi right. Ayingakho amadoda ozolibuka atshintsha because you are trying to fit in. And if you
You're
can't,
finding this thing
yeah,
that you'll
lento
never find.
okhuliswe ukuthi kumele uyithole kanti lento kuwe.
Iguwe.
If when you don't have to look for me, I will see you because you will be glowing, you will be fulfilled. Ayikho into emnandi njengokuthanda umuntu wesifazane ogcwele ongafuni mina ngizomgcwalisela ozothi mina naye sizopartnera, but not othi ucabanga ukuthi makathola uNtokozo seka complete. You are complete on your own. Mina nawe, we then come and
In
master this
partnership.
thing to partner to become this powerhouse.
Hey. Labo couple goals.
Yes,
Atholakala
abamampela.
kanjalo. Bamampela.
Abamampela, not lama couple goes ukuthi sigqoke his and hers kodwa ithengwa yimi. Sigqoka udrive imoto ngidrive imoto kodwa zithengwe yimi zonke. A man must provide, but a woman in today, 2024, it's no longer the olden. I would
Hello.
agree with that, mina, if Bektua, those days where a man goes for 6 months, a year, ayosebenza. A woman can't do anything but to provide, to take care of the
Nurture,
home.
yeah.
You nurture, you make sure, you sharpen, you nourish, you do all those things. But today, universities are full of women.
Yeah.
Bese city, mele babe ama objects. I don't believe in that. I believe the power of a woman is actually more than a man.
The boardroom.
Yes, you can stand in the boardroom, make money.
Yeah.
And make it not only money, but be fulfilled. Even if ukuthengisa inwele or uthengisa une product yakho.
There's
Mara
things
lento
that
zoba
you're
ne
doing.
attachment yakho ukuthi le ekantokozo.
It's mine.
It's mine. Then you are able to, as a man, love a woman who is able to take themselves out for lunch and say, I don't need to be with you today, babe. You can do your things and be with your boys. I just want to go out and have coffee.
Me time.
Yeah.
It's important.
Why is amantombazana angabi ne me time? Aba ne me time mawa head. Kan umuntu acabanga ukuthi let me think of a trip.
Siyakhuza njalo. Don't have a
Ungayenzi.
me time uhead.
No, that's not a me time. You are just dealing with. And then mase sewuqeda uyohlala nendoda after that so smithing again so khohliwe nge-me time so khohliwe self-worth. So khohliwe ukuthi
Oh, sisho njalo?
angithi
Sisho
kanjani
self-worth.
self-worth
Uhead.
solo trip. Awukho right. Yenze lonto ujabulile unendoda yakho or usingle ungafune umuntu.
Kube ne solo trip.
Kube ne solo trip yakho authentic.
Amen.
Not because you are trying to close a gap and so uba wild because awusenandoda. Hayi, iba wild uyi-one.
Ntokozo, we're still about these awards. I think my question that I had is Oluguti. Ntokozo, you've been running this for years. I know you.
Yeah.
From back at work.
Yeah.
This is 2008,
Yeah.
if not 2007. That's how far we go back. The myths around you doing this, and there's beautiful girls, beautiful women. And have you not gotten, a resistant of fights around the society thinking you are using these children?
That's always a matter of fact ebakhona. Umakheniki makalungisa imoto or welder
Yeah.
zochiswa ilento eyisebenzisayo at
Yeah.
some point. That's always our exposure. And I'm proud, I would really say that I'm proud that I had not fallen into, me and my team, we pride ourselves, not just me. We had these conversations where we
Yeah.
know that we are men. My team was full of men. It was myself.
I know, I was there. I've come to camp.
Like they were men, a nice built men. And I had to sit down, me Nakala, and realize that one of my falls would be to go and intentionally just ngqobhoze, because it's easy for me to do that. Those girls come, they smile at you, they say a mentor. But what used to bother them about me is that I would bring my partner.
Okay. Okay.
Almost all the camps, yes, we would go with the boys sometimes, but most of the time, bazobona Lusiso Amba now coach. It's not only about me, because it's about self-control. Sometimes they would want to gube yibo, because it's easy
Having
to say
a crush,
mina.
you know how
Yeah.
girls grow up and
They would
abazi what's
intentionally
going on
want
with
to
them.
just throw themselves at you. So what do you do? So one of the defense mechanism, because as men, we can be weak sometimes, I would bring my partner. In all the years that I've run the organization from 2006, I Masibana Makempet, we used to have 5 days, 7 days camp. I would bring my girlfriend at that time. Bring my girlfriend, then they would see my girlfriend. And if there's no girlfriend, because I am also a person who's able to control myself, I would have my own place to stay usually. So njengwe director, I would be able to actually book myself a room. But there's no need for anyone to come to my room. We have got a central place where all our facilitators sleep. And in instances where we need to share with my colleagues, who would then share. If silala kwi-12 sleeper and a 12 sleeper in a kitchen A1, sizolala sonke samajita as male facilitators.
Yeah.
Then there's no room for any of us, because naming it's gents.
We look after one another.
Yeah. And we protect our temptations.
Yeah.
See, amadoda la if abakhona. And I don't only speak for myself. My team behaved well. So I think ukuthi, that's how I even today, I have a relationship with the district director of Ekurhuleni South, because that's mostly where my programs would be done.
Yeah.
I have good relationships with all the HOTs zase Ekurhuleni South, Ntokozo, Fosloras, and Germiston and other areas, because they know the men that I am. They bring girls. There was an instant where
Ntokozo, I
Yeah.
mean, there's the recent story of a celebrity, who apparently malumulumile, I mean, it's apparent, and I'm saying this,
Yeah.
openly, because of he does a lot of things for young people, and helping young people is one of the things that he's gifted in.
Okay.
But now, obviously, people must I came in to be one of the people that I'm recording under him, and now
Waluma.
Waluma, and then you ask yourself, then the Kobe twins, then do
Oh,
you understand?
yeah.
So you've been in this business, or rather, in this business for
It
long.
is a business,
so you just wonder, Guti, what are some of the attacks that you have dealt with? Yeah.
No, maning ama attempts, or rather ama attacks abakhona. But I think for a man, if you are able to, some could be false. I was about to tell you a story, because that was a shock for me. It happened once in my life. Ngathuka, ngangazazi ngise-ofisini elethulwazi secondary school. There was a daughter of a chairperson of the SGB. We went to a metric farewell. I was a motivational speaker. We went to Durban for a weekend. And I make friends with these people, boys and girls. I have conversation. So we went for an ice cream with the daughter of the SGB chairperson and her friend. It was the three of us. We went to buy ice cream. I won't mention the store. We went, and then we went as a group to go to Moses Mabhida for the ride to see Moses Mabhida. It was everyone. But later on, we went for an ice cream. We sat down, we ate, we came back. We fast forward a week later when we are back, they called me at the school. They don't tell you, Vele, because when you're in trouble, they don't tell you. They're like, come, these are your clients. They pay you. You do camps for them. You do this matric farewell. I go to the office. There's the principal, there's the deputy, and the HOD. And they say, so Ntokozo, I won't mention the girl's name.
Yeah.
They say, so what did you do with this girl in Durban? Yo, I don't want to lie to you. I felt that this is the moment I've been running away from, where my career is going to go down in flames. And I'm like, okay, what is said that I did with this lady? The thing I could recall is us going to buy ice cream outside of the group activity that we did. And they say, no, apparently you slept with her. And I'm like, who said I slept with her? Because the best thing would be for her to say that. They didn't want to reveal to me. And I was like, bring the girl in and let us have. They said, no, we are afraid because we have not told the chairperson. We wanted to have this conversation with you first so that we can see how we can keep this under control. And I'm like, but I'm okay. Bring the dead, bring the girl, because I'm aware that nothing happened.
Yeah.
And this girl, I don't know, like I don't think would hide. If she went out and told them that I did something that I shouldn't have done, even if it was consensual, like it was something that we agreed on, I think it would be for her to say, "Good, okay, we did do this, and ngiyamthanda ubhuti Ntokozo." If that's the case, then the school will deal with me. Good, but noma ngabe uyavuma lo, even though it's not statutory, but you are doing this thing like schooling. But that was not even the case. I didn't approach the girl ukumshela, kwakumshela. There was no intention. So I was excited. When they said that, after being shocked, I laughed and said, guys, ngicela nimletheni ugirl sizokhuluma, lethani ubaba, lethani i-protection ezoyenza ukuthi noma ngabe we are thinking that ugirl uzosaba ukukhuluma, but aben afeel ukuthi usafe, sendaweni esafe yokuthi akhulume. That's when they started trusting me even more, because after that they realized that nothing happened. It's either there's always going to be rumors.
There's
about,
always going to be rumors, yeah.
ukuthi ubani, because more dealer nabantu. We've heard these stories. This is not the first time. There's a coach in a certain school who did 1, 2, 3. There's boys' schools in Drakensberg where boys were molested by men in the church, by men in the religious or Christian school. Yeah. So now that is expected. There are guilty people in these things and there are innocent people. The best thing is to treat each case with sensitivity and not with one blanket.
Danko. A message that you have for, we have this upcoming event.
Yeah.
Please give the details. Ingengaki, the event. And a message that you want to give to males.
Yeah, I think this is I'm glad you're also saying males, because this is an event it's in August.
It's because I know
women
will attend.
Yes.
But males.
Yeah, it's a women's month and we are empowering single women. But you know, as a man, you were raised by a single mother. Yeah. You know, as a man, that 80% of us are raised by single women. Ukoko, u-auntie, umama, wako. I'm saying, come tell a story about how you were raised and how great you are. You are probably a CEO. You could be coming to give back to your society, to other, or this event that is done for women like your mom, who raised you to be the warrior, the leader that you are. Yeah. Excuse me. So I'm saying to men, let us come and embrace and protect and celebrate single mothers that have raised us. Masibheka ama-household ase-South Africa siyazi ukuthi abobaba abekho.
Yeah.
Sibabheke emasontweni abekho, sibabheke emakhaya abekho. Ama-families asela exposed, basematshwaleni, basemahhotela, nabafazi babanye abantu nama-slay queens kumnandi, but bashiye irresponsibility, bashiye amakhaya exposed, are unprotected, are unprovided for. So I'm asking men to take a bigger role on this one, to say, ngeyi-3 zaka-August sizobe sise-Albertine Civic Center, the council chambers, Albertine Civic Center in Ekurhuleni. We are calling on men to come and celebrate women. Women, we are calling you to come and learn how to deal with raising a boy child, how to deal with dating when you have kids and you want to still look sexy and you want to be yourself and live your life. Others of you as women, you no longer want to be in a relationship. You just want to raise your kids, but you want to be recognized and be full. We are not all looking to a man to rescue us. And some we've given up, rightfully so, but we are saying, don't give up on yourself. You are still a human being. You are still a part of society that is raising kids, and you can be empowered to do that better. Lastly, there's also got to be professional help. We know that we are dealing with women with traumas. We are dealing with women who are struggling, who find it difficult as much as they want to date, but bakumbuli ex and nokuthi yamtreata kanjani. So now they are closed up like this, trying to protect their hearts, trying to protect themselves. So we are saying, how do you let go, offload, vent out some of the things that actually are holding you back from being free? Besides being free so that you can be dating again, just for yourself. Then, after you have cured yourself, you can think about whether you want to date, whether you want to be married again, or whether you want to go on in whatever way you want to go on. So we are going to be at Civic Center, Albertine Civic Center, on the 3rd of August. It's a day event, so we want you to dress nicely. Ungezugqoke nje, ungagqoki impahla ze-gym. I know a lot of people bafuna ni bangazi nge-gym, ungagqoki tight. Abo single mom ba hot, guys, iban hot.
Yeah, babe
Single
hot.
moms are hot.
And then
So
contact details.
you are beautiful, so come as beautiful as you are. You can check for me on socials. I am Ntokozo Mwelase. On Facebook, on Instagram, search for Ntokozo Mwelase. Send me a message, and then I will definitely respond. On my other platforms, Egurulene Aerobics Festival, you will find me there. Send me a message. If you want to email us, we are ntokozo@futureshapers.co.za. You can email me at ntokozo@futureshapers.co.za or admin@futureshapers.co.za. You can give me a WhatsApp or call on 072 818 1872. That is 072 818 1872.
Thank you, Ntokozo Mwelase. This was a beautiful one. Guys, I can't wait myself to watch him talk about his journey. We are Unlock with Tando Gamawumela podcast, and we'd like you to share, subscribe, and of course, like the page. It makes a whole lot of difference. But more than anything, I hope you are learning something as we are bringing such men like Ntokozo, and we are saying he's a youth pioneer. Ezamadoda zaziwa vuye. Young people, I'm hoping that you are going to pick up yourselves and do something with your lives. Bo Mama, the 3rd. Danko.
Thank you so much.